It was a crunch game for both teams. They each were looking to snap out of a 3-game losing streak. Who would return to the winner's circle? It's Melbourne and St Kilda at Colonial Stadium.
Start of the game then. St Kilda and Melbourne, both desperately needing a win. From the start, Harvey looks like he means business. Uze gets them forward. Repeating the news that Rigoni not playing for the Demons. Brett Voss, a couple of Demons there in the end. Well, they talked okay, but they made a mess of it. Ward dropping it. Godfrey kept it up, back to Uze, into the space. If it clears Plapp, which it did, Robertson off the left, can he nail it? Playing in front, Schwarz almost got the rewards for doing that. Delaney. Now Spider Everett. Oh, he had time, so he had time to recover. Oh, now he's in trouble. Just got a fist to it. Neitz created the opportunity. Gurgic, little kick, wrestling. Robertson, not quite. Still has a chance, and through the legs of Schwarz.
I think that little kick was intended for Schwarz there, actually, Hutto, but it didn't connect very well. We've already got an interesting matchup with Hall going to David Neitz. So a bit of respect there for David Neitz.
You mentioned about Gurgic kick being intended for Schwarz. So Schwarz came away there on camera indicating that maybe a hand pass might have been better. Burke taken to the ground with a lot of severity by Whelan. Now the umpires found a free kick to Melbourne. Now play called on. Collins in a little spot of bother. Then eventually Godfrey out wide, and the marker's taken out there by Uze. Plays on quickly. Bit of a mongrel kick going into the full forward line, but gathered beautifully by Schwarz. Schwarz now off the left in towards half foot. Oh, good game effort. And running on with the ball. Brown should kick a goal. No, he's missed. He's missed an absolute sitter, Nathan Brown. Should have mopped that one up.
He'll be very disappointed with that one, Robert.
Have a look down here, boys. Yep. Hamill and his counterpart at each other.
Well, a bit of fire, Dipper. We Saints look very intense when they hit the ground tonight than before the opening bounce. So, well, they know what's at stake tonight.
Uze going backwards and the ball over the line. The point that Brian Royal made before the game, what you were referring to then with Barry Hall, is a good one, isn't it? One of the reasons they play Neitz forward is because he really does stretch the other teams, and the Saints, we know, are down with Gehrig not playing, but Hall's had to go back into defence.
Very difficult to match up on.
Hayes gets it away. Now Harvey, can he use it? Oh, he's pushing back well. Collins back in the team tonight. Switching Wheatley, who's been one of their impressive young players this year for the Demons. Pushing it wide, McDonald. Up to centre half forward again. Platt. But his hands full tonight with Robertson. Takes a good mark.
He's very good overhead, Platt. He was in a good position there for a defender.
He wanted to get the switch right out wide for Stephen Lawrence, but didn't get enough on the kick. Neitz is loose at half forward. And the kick comes in. Kazitsky gets in front and takes the mark.
Already a bit of confusion because this is twice now Kazitsky's found himself on a different opponent to his direct one in Schwarz. So the Saint boys working very hard down back to cover for their opponents.
Well, Hall's on Robertson at the moment, and as you said, Plapp is on Schwarz, so they've really switched it around. They'll probably go back in a moment. It's a good sign for the Saints. Everett taking a mark. He's a confidence player, we know that. Switch could be on for Plapp on this side of the ground. He disguised it very well then, Everett. Didn't give it away. It was good play. Plapp can get it almost at 50, and this is a chance now. Moyle went for the pass option rather than the shot. Brett Voss at the front of the pack, aligned himself beautifully with the goals and makes no mistake.
Well, a great finish there by Brett Voss. I was a little bit disappointed in Brett Moyle that he didn't actually back himself and run inside 50 and have a shot. Nonetheless, Voss got front and square as we see Platt, who ran out of defence, set himself up in the corridor. Moyle there had time, had space, but decided and elected to go short. Spoiled, but Voss, very disciplined football there. We hear a lot about front and square in football, and when you do it well, like Voss just did, you can pay a heavy price. That's a good start for the Saints. A nice finish.
I reckon Robertson's coming off there, boys, and Brad Green will replace him in a minute. Interesting move that would be.
Just while we have a little spare moment, Powell, Blake, Elliott, and Milne starting on the interchange bench for the Saints. And for the Demons, it is Thompson playing his first game. And we're watching now Delaney come away with the football, but the kick drops in short. McDonald, gee, wasn't he tackled well by Delaney? Harvey equally as well. Voss out wide. Chance now for the Saints to go forward through Begley. Begley kicks the ball beautifully. And Callaghan is marked within scoring range. For Melbourne, they started with Scott Thompson, Troy Simmons, Brad Green and Anthony McDonald.
Russell Robertson's off the ground, as we mentioned. He's just fuming. He's straight on the phone down here. If we can get a camera to see him speak to Neil Daniels and see the replay there.
This is Callaghan we're watching. Saints lead 6-2. And Callaghan has extended that lead. He's kicked the second goal.
It's interesting, Robertson, I reckon, arguing the case that at that stage he wasn't actually on Platt. That's maybe what he's arguing. We talked about how they changed the matchups, the Saints' defence, and at that stage maybe Platt wasn't actually on Robertson.
No, there's been a little bit of coverage going on down there. Blokes needing to run hard to cover for others, and some confusion as a result of that. Some good early signs here from the Saints, and particularly from Begley. Very impressive football, this young fella.
Russell Robertson still not happy, but they're used to it these days with the rotation, sitting on the bench. Everett giving them some presence out of the middle. Crunching tackle on Wheatley. Coming through. Still there a chance. The Saints, good tackling.
Gee, Hutto, you can tell when a side's really on, and tonight St Kilda are showing all the signs that they've come to play. I know that sounds a little bit boring and cliche, but they are really hard at the contest, and when Melbourne take possession, they're not getting any time and space.
Everett. Again, he got good position. Look, the run forward from Harvey was just terrific. He'll make sure of it, Burke. And Lowe kicks the goal.
What about that? Harvey, Burke, Lowe.
That was sensational footy, fantastic to watch. It's very difficult to set up a goal from a ball up in the forward 50 because everyone's normally accounted for. It's big Spider here was fantastic. Just did the right thing, an aggressive hit forward. There was no sweeper for the Demons and allowed the Saints players just to run onto it. And Lowe finished off from point-blank range, but really Spider Everett's start to this game is going to have a big influence on the way Jeff White attacks the next 10 minutes of the match, because Everett is just on song and attacking it very hard. White's just going to have to go with him and plant a seed in his head that he's not going to have the space that he needs.
Well, that bounce certainly favoured Jeff White. He missed Woewodin, but McDonald was there. Handballed across the line. Chance here for Ward to kick forward for the Demons. Good kick. Schwarz missed the mark. Woewodin, he'll have to kick it off the ground, and he does. And he does it magnificently. Now that is polished.
That was fantastic. The Socceroos beat France, and I think they would have been pretty impressed with that goal there by Woewodin. But he's an aggressive runner out of the centre bounce, isn't he? He just wasn't an option, but he ran forward, cleaned up the mess there, and it went through the gate on Schwarz. But that's a fantastic goal. Wonderful goal.
They needed to answer Paul, didn't they, after St Kilda had got off to such a good start kicking 3. Melbourne needed to get one back.
Certainly, and that's an emphatic way to get it back to a quick centre clearance and a running ahead of the play goal like Woewodin's there.
Russell Robertson on the boundary line, Paul, he's just staring at the coach's box. He just wants to be on.
It's a good sign. I don't think Neil Daniher would be worried about that. That's great to see.
Well, it's great when the stars are really shining, and so far the big names are playing well. And Aaron Hamill is one of the big names that the Saints need to fire tonight. And we mentioned Everett giving them a presence out of the middle. He was involved again, and Thompson, who's another one who needs to... He came back to form a little bit last week, but he started the year playing in defence, and I think was getting a bit frustrated, not playing on the ball.
Geez, Hutto, it's leadership's a word that's been thrown around a lot in footy, but St Kilda's been yearning for it tonight so far. It's been fantastic, and this guy Hamill, if he's on, he's going to be hard to stop.
And it's close, just away to the right. Very disappointed with that.
So I wonder how long it takes a side to actually get the cohesion in the forward line, and it's not going to be judged on one game. But St Kilda have got a pretty potent forward line, and Hamill's a critical key to it. You know, let's hope it clicks tonight and in weeks to come.
Little sign on Russell Robertson's left hand. We'll pick that up shortly.
Yeah, put me back on, he's saying. I think he's about to come back on too.
No pain, we believe it may read. Oh! High flying leap there from Jeff White. Taken away for Melbourne now by Brown. Kicks the ball in towards the half-forward area. A struggle now. Platt throwing the ball. Pretty good tackle. Melbourne will be rewarded. Play on. Now McDonald should kick a goal. He steadies, he kicks, and he goals for the Demons. Anthony McDonald kicks his first goal, and when Hamill could have stretched the league to nearly 3 goals with his shot, it goes down the other end of the ground. McDonald kicks a goal, and all of a sudden you have a 5-point margin between these two teams.
It's very valid what you just said, Robbo. It's a critical miss there for Hamill early in the game, but they all count, and it was a set shot in 30, and that transition was very quick and very damaging. But White's attacking the ball at the contest, the ball over the back, and the Melbourne players are running. Both sides are running pretty aggressively at it, which is good to see.
Comes back to hurt you though, doesn't it, when you miss shots like that? 5 points the difference now. Everett beaten by White that time. Leoncelli. Hayes, so they're fighting over it with each other. Hayes and Callahan there.
It's not hard to get into a game when you see both sides, all players really having a crack. As you see that sign on the back of the hand. There's no pain. He wouldn't be feeling much on the boundary line, that's for sure.
He's back on the ground now, buddy, eh?
All right.
All right. Woewodin pushing forward, couldn't take it with him. Leoncelli bounced up brilliantly. And, well, the talk of the attempted long kick wasn't so great. The fumble from Schwarz allowing Kaczynski, and now Hall. Moyle trapped between McDonald and Woewodin.
And talk about Woewodin there, Anthony. The match up there is Andrew Thompson, who's played back, forward, everywhere this year, but he's certainly got the job on Woewodin there.
Well, lately he's been doing the stopping job very effectively, so not surprised to see him on Melbourne's best midfielder.
Schwarz doing the rucking and the roving. Robertson, Gurgic, Brown, Schwarz. They worked it pretty well then, the Demons. And Robertson wants it. Gets another chance with Barry bearing down. He rode it pretty well. He rode it very, very, very well.
One would suggest, Paul, that he's answered any doubts that anyone had about him, whether he should be on the ground or not.
I think he's showing great restraint at the moment, not looking towards the coach's box and saying, "I told you so, Robbo." But that's fantastic. Neil Danaher will be licking his chops, saying, "That's just what I wanted." He's come back on. He's given a good, honest contest there. He's recovered. Second effort was fantastic. And he's just a fantastic instinctive footballer. His skills are great, and he can kick the hard
His
ones.
enthusiasm and exuberance for the game is exactly what a coach wants from everybody that goes out there, surely.
There's no doubt about that. And this guy's a real sparks in the Melbourne lineup. And so 3 quick answers for the Demons.
Well, they lead by a point. Uze gets it clear. Robertson and Platt. Still Robertson. Can't break away, though. Ball rebounds to Platt. Also there was Gale. Now Thompson for St Kilda. Back to Gale. Gale to straighten up. Back onto his right. Kicks the ball back in towards half forward, but White. Jeff White is marked. Goes in towards the middle. Player on his own is Uze. Nice little left foot kick in towards half forward. Schwarz and Kaczynski. Maybe the more experienced, but that young fella Kaczynski, he's been playing quite good football for St Kilda as a youngster coming into the senior AFL level.
He backed himself in, didn't he, to spoil?
Yeah, look, he's very impressive, Hutto, and look, just coming up against a guy with experience and strength of Schwarz has worked him out pretty well. He's got a good reach on him, Kaczynski, so he doesn't want to get into an arm wrestle with him.
Oh, Schwarz, so good at that. Gurgic pushing forward. And he misses. Well, the turnaround in this game has been phenomenal. We said that the Saints really looked like they meant business originally, but
You've got to be very careful there with Schwarz in those ruck contests, because he turns you so well. He'll take an arm and he turns his hips and does it so well. And if you're inexperienced and haven't worked him out, he'll be a very dangerous proposition in those situations.
Tight kick. Moyle takes the mark. Delaney looking ahead. He's got another little short option on here. Callahan in his 100th game with a bit of space to work in. Goes for Hamill again. Collins made the spoil successfully. A high tackle. Hamill to take it. Certainly played on.
Good kick.
Lawrence. Yes, it was precision pass, and Lawrence has gone down.
Well, there won't be a 50 there. There shouldn't be. There is. Well.
Made a certainty of it now.
Well, was the contact late?
It didn't look late. I think the umpire decision was probably based on the fact the eyes weren't on the ball and the forearm took the head. So probably fair enough. I'd need to see the replay, but if that's correct, then the 50 was probably there.
Just very quickly on the big screen here at the ground, that's exactly what it would indicate from my point of view.
Lawrence rams it through the middle. Saints back in front.
Well, that's just what the Saints needed, because look, it just shows a bit of steel about their game tonight. Melbourne kicked a few and they're able to respond here. It's gone in here. That's great. Well, Hamill contest, the beautiful thing about him as a forward, first, the contest is fantastic. Secondly, the second effort's equal and it always comes to the front. You can be banked on, but that's where the 50 was. Contact high.
Stephen Lawrence, who kicked the goal, is back there in the foreground at the centre bounce, and he had a couple of words to say to Matthew Collins as he walked back towards the middle of the ground. And underneath all that is Moyle.
Still not sure about that 50. I mean, I would argue that it wasn't really late.
Oh, it certainly didn't appear late, but I think what we're saying...
Doesn't it have to be a 50-metre penalty?
Well, not if the contact's high and the eyes of the player weren't on the ball. It wasn't a fair contest,
So the bounce of the ball just forward of the centre circle, favouring St Kilda. Uze has already had, well, he's now had his 7th kick. That one not quite, just hitting in the right area. Leoncelli takes it over. The fans out there feeling that he may have helped it over on the full. We'll have another look. No, it was the bottom of his foot and just trundling over in front of Andrew Leoncelli. White and Everett, still White. Can he get the hand pass into the path of? He can. James McDonald tackled. After it went Ward, he collected it. Now the opportunity for St Kilda. They go forward through Beetham. Oh, terrific leap there by Whelan. Not able to take the mark. Woewodin combining back there with Collins and then Wheatley. Wheatley into the middle. Gergich has taken the ball and steadies and then kicks out wide. Player on his own is James McDonald. And he's taken the mark. He's probably a kick and a half from goal. He'll certainly put it to the danger area from a St Kilda point of view, and Neitz his mark. And Barry Hall just lost his space there, surely, going for the mark.
Well, he did. He wasn't in a bad position, Barry, because he had Neitz in front of him. The ball was coming in, but Neitz just picked up the flight of the ball a little bit sooner. Very talented mark. I mean, he took his eyes off the ball, turned his body in a 360 and still had time to take the ball in the chest. Wonderful stuff.
Leading goal kicker for the Demons in 3 seasons, David Neitz. He's been used at both ends. I think he's popped it through. No, he's missed. Gee,
the post there, inside the post.
Well, that's a couple of chances, isn't it? Gergich and now Neitz missing from what you would have thought would have been chances that they could have converted.
Look at that leap there.
That's great stuff, isn't it?
Hey, I say. Give it to him.
He's an exciting player, Matthew Whelan. He really is. It's great to see him back. They really missed him towards the end of last year. He was one that was forgotten about a little bit. Gale takes the mark in the back pocket. So 4-1 the Saints, 3-4 the Demons. Just over the halfway stage of the first quarter. Everett and White, it's going to be a telling battle throughout the night. Voss, he rode that very well. Hayes, Woewodin. White well tackled, great tackling by Harvey. Schwarz, quick with the hands, Whelan regaining the balance in time to get that kick forward. Cameron Bruce, Neitz is leading, so is Robertson. Oh, Neitz again judged it, but Platt judged it even better.
You mentioned the White-Everett contest there, Hutto, and I'm really enjoying it. There's a bit of spark in both those players tonight.
3 marks for Platt. Burke. Kazitsky, better watch out. Brown sneaking in. Schwarz and Callaghan. He was desperate there, Callaghan. Schwarz knocked it out. He saw Nathan Brown lurking there and thought he might be able to get it to him. Burke, plenty of options inward, and they used them well. Beetham's kick is good for Delaney. He can run on the overlap. He had Voss, ignores him, goes for home, goes for Lowe, who's in front. Free kick, hanging on. Or in the back, have to be one or the other.
Some might argue that's a little hard on Nicholson because it was a one-on-one, but really Lowe is very smart in that he just stopped and popped a little bit there and forced Nicholson to come aggressive over the back. So technically the free kick was there.
Melbourne inside their forward 50-12 to St Kilda's 7.
So the conversion all important tonight for both sides. We've seen misses at the other end, and Aaron Hamill missed from a similar position earlier. And that looks pretty ordinary off the boot. In fact, doesn't make the distance. Hamill working hard for it. Another opportunity goes begging.
Well, it's a little surprising they haven't been kicking them sweetly off the boot tonight.
Got the roof on too, Paul. There's no excuses whatsoever, is there?
I'm trying to find one, Robbo, but I can't.
Nicholson doing the ruck work up against Lowe, and the umpire will be forced to bounce right in front of the St Kilda goal, only 25 metres from goal.
I was just going to say, Melbourne got to be careful in this situation. We've already seen a goal from the ball up here, and they have dropped a sweeper off the back of this contest as we look at the coach's box. This is very important they do that.
Nicholson over the top, Lawrence the hand pass. Harvey not able to break away. Good tackle by Godfrey, wasn't it? Ball spilt for Hamill. Hamill over the top low. He'll be run down by Woewodin. Got the hand pass back to Spider. The big Spider. The Spider-Man has gone home with a goal. Peter Everett. Exciting now with these Saints going forward. They've got some tremendous players, and if they all fire, they're going to be a hard side to beat.
That's exactly right, Robert. It's great to see Spider. This is Hamill again. Geez, he creates. He's always giving 100% down there. Lower, good vision out the back. And Spider had time to wind up, and look at that. And, well, we've already mentioned it, Hutto, that both ruckmen are on song and giving one another a little bit of latitude at the moment. We'll just be interested to see how that battle continues as the game wears on.
Free kick paid Melbourne's way. Jeff White. Neitz makes the first lead. He went, well, I'm not sure if he went for Neitz or Robertson. It landed somewhere in between. Flat fumble. Robertson. Brown, big chance. Oh, he did that well. It was a touch. It was still in. Voss. So well saved back there. Gale with the mark. Moving it on for Hall. Gergic was the spoiler. He just grabbed onto the arm. The umpire said it was a push.
I think you called it right there in the first place.
I think so too.
The arm grab.
So Barry Hall fires it up for Lenny Hayes. Hamill's got a big run at this one. He just won't quite get there though. Uze. Neitz in front. Accepted gleefully. Oh, Spider, can he do that? Yes, he can. Came from behind.
He hasn't moved off the mark.
I said he was off. He had called play on.
Well, that, in my opinion, is way too hard, Robbo.
Ridiculous.
Hayes. Space to work in. Delaney running for him. He had a long time to line it up. Stuart Lowe and Hamill. Got to be a mark. It is a mark.
But it's all come from what I thought was just a crazy free kick.
Well, the Demon fans are fired up now. They're on their feet because that transition from that decision, Robbo, was going to cost them the goal.
It wasn't so much the decision for holding the ball because they won the ball out of the tackle. It was whether or not
But Melbourne
he was allowed to do, whether or not
Melbourne should have maintained possession of the ball, surely.
Hamill. He's done the job. So the Saints, in a strange old match, have regained their early advantage.
Well, everyone's alive at the stadium at the moment, Hutto. It's great to see. The fans, like it or not, are right into the game now. There was it now. Nah, look, I'm still not convinced that was there. There was a play on call. He might have... Gee, I tell you, that's hard on Neitz. Very hard on him. But that was a great mark by Hamill and a great goal to finish off.
Well, Hamill the goal kicker, but we're going to have another look, Paul, at this incident that led to a free kick being awarded against David Neitz. Now, does he move?
He's called play on by then. Yeah, exactly. Why?
No.
Why? There is absolutely no reason whatsoever why he should have called play on.
Absolutely none.
Burke dispossessed by Leoncelli. Maybe give him the credit for getting the hand pass away. Hayes, little hand pass. Moyle. Now Kazitsky in towards the half-forward wing area. Voss dispossessed. Oh, down went Everett. He's collected one in that passage of play. He may be No, he looks as if he could be okay. The really good contest for possession of the ball finishes with Uze. Uze waits the kick out in front, and the mark is taken by Gergic in front of Delaney.
Gergic is fumbling at that mark then, probably would cost him about 10 metres, because they'll pay the mark once the mark is completed. But
I reckon the umpire's been generous to him there, actually, where he said the mark was in the end.
That's where he finally completes the mark. He probably took it closer to 50, but this is a very entertaining game of football so far. Both sides playing aggressive attacking football, which is great to see.
Well, needs to get a goal. He won't from that kick. It'll lob in the front. Oh, mark! Leap and mark to the Demons, taken by Cameron Bruce. And his timing there was absolutely perfect.
He just looks more comfortable as a forward, doesn't he? He ran the ball very well. That was a good ride. And, well, how he got to run it, that you have to ask, because he shouldn't have the few metres out the back.
Very important kick, and he's popped it through. Demons hit back. Cameron Bruce kicks his first goal. And for Melbourne, importantly, they get their fourth and pull back to within 9 points of the Saints with 3.5 minutes left in the first term.
Well, we've already had 15 scoring shots in this game. If you tally both sides, 10 goals. It's been very highly entertaining. And although Gergic probably would have liked to kick the goal, that's a great mark by Bruce and a great finish.
I've just worked out why it's such an entertaining game, Fish.
Why is that, Hunter?
We're not seeing any flooding, really.
That's a very good point you make.
It's so refreshing.
Well, they're more direct through midfield. You can't flood as effectively when both sides are running more aggressively and pushing it long and quick like this into the forward 50.
Beetham gets it in there again. Brown just eluded him. McDonald handled it pretty well, but then he was well tackled. Everett is really hungry for it. Wheatley did a pretty good job as well. Collins, ooh, was that a handball? Must have been. The umpire had to duck then. Brown with time. Oh, made a meal of the kick. Robertson, oh, back to Brown. Milne just had got a little touch onto it. That was well done too by Begley. Thompson's kick now is all right. Handle. The man on is Lawrence. If he can just get it over to him, he couldn't. Has to get it in there quickly for Stewie Lowe. Milne didn't know whether to go or not then. Nicholson did a good job. So they made a bit of a mess of that.
Well, Milne was Hamill's target there, but he had his back to the ball at the wrong time.
I don't think he was quite sure as whether he was meant to go or not. Robertson.
Sometimes you get players just thinking a little bit ahead of the other guys on the field, and it doesn't quite work out.
So David Schwarz with the footy. Demons would love to get one back in the last 2.5 minutes before quarter time. Neitz against Hall. Bruce again. Kicked the last one. Sets a big chance up. Gergic. Neitz over the top. Leoncelli. Well done, Demons. Well done, Andrew Leoncelli.
Too lucky he got the goal. There was a hand pass on there for sure, off to the right.
It was certainly on there, Robbo, you're quite right. And, well, common sense overrules the team rules sometimes. And in this instance, you play very instinctively as a forward, of course, and he's done the right thing because the 6 points are on the board. But good hands there, good vision by Neitz. And, as you said, just out there to left of screen, of course, was the option, and it was Uze. So Leoncelli, a good finish. He'd be pretty happy with that because he's been running pretty hard already in this game. You can see there on screen he's gasping for a bit of air. And well, an impressive goal.
Uze 9 kicks. Leoncelli with his 4th kick, kicked his first goal, and for Melbourne got their 5th. They'll go through Anthony McDonald forward once again. As a kick down the ground. An infringement against Callaghan on Anthony McDonald has meant that Melbourne will have a shot for goal.
Silly.
And it was silly play too.
It's very silly, unnecessary at the time.
It's Russell Robertson who may get his 2nd goal for the term.
So, you know, it's great when sides are really on and want to show a physical presence, but
he's off the ground. He's off the ground, Paul. Oh, magnificent long kick by Robertson, but just off to the left as we watch Callaghan come off, and he will be replaced by Powell.
It's pretty late here. That's late. And really, that's why Blythe's disappointed. It could have cost him a goal.
Hayes takes the mark from the kick in and he's away. We've got a minute and a half to try and kick a goal here, the Saints. Harvey done a few nice things already. He's only had 3 touches, but he's had a slight influence on the game. So is this man, Everett. Came off the boot of Jeff White, but bounces before he goes out. So now just over a minute remaining. Saints clinging on to a 2-point lead. I think they kicked the first 3, Melbourne the next 3. Then the Saints kicked the next 3, and then Melbourne have kicked the last 2. Everett and White again. Lawrence. Good work from Godfrey and Whelan, and now Schwarz. And they're away. Out of the full. So they get another chance. Platt. 6-1 the Saints, 5-5 the Demons. Kazitsky. Now I said there was no flooding. Now there is a bit. The Demons have pushed down in this last minute. They're all ahead of the play here.
Well, this will happen. This will happen when the ball stalled a bit through midfield, and
Hamill was strong. He just couldn't complete the mark, though, could he? And we're going to see a bounce with 25 seconds remaining.
a couple of likely types in those contests down that 450 for the Saints. Hamill's been very impressive early in this game. I'm still getting used to Robert Harvey as a forward, though, Robert. There's Malcolm Blight. He's already had words with Callahan after that indiscretion a few moments ago.
One more chance for the Saints. They wrap it up pretty well, but Powell, who came on for Callahan. Quick kick from Begley. Stuart Lowe getting back there. Oh, the siren. I think that point will stand, won't it? Yes.
No, he's paid a free kick, the umpire, to the Melbourne player. Milne leant into him. So no score.
No score. Second quarter from Colonial Stadium. St Kilda 6-1-37. Melbourne 5-5-35. Bounce slightly favoured White in the end because he came through with the momentum over Everett. Have another crack at it now.
Didn't he time his leap to perfection then, with the bounce of the ball?
Yeah, it was well timed, Robbo, absolutely, and Everett was camped under it a little bit, and you love it as a ruckman when you've got a bit of a run in it and it floats just ever so slightly back over the head of your opponent.
Woewodin as the extra ruckman that time.
I think I got off the ground occasionally in that situation.
Yeah, occasionally. Being the word.
Keep it up, Otto.
Platt. Everett loves to just bomb the ball. Look at that. Travelled all of 65 metres to Hamill. He's playing pretty well tonight, Aaron Hamill.
Too strong there.
Played very well. I've been really impressed with his game tonight. He's had 5 possessions as his 4th mark, a couple of tackles.
They've been contested marks too, haven't they, a lot of them?
His output's been fantastic, and it's an interesting matchup. Look, if he gets too much more of it, Collins, I don't think he can run with Hamill with strength, but his mobility is the equal of Hamill's. But so we'll just see how things transpire there over the course of this quarter.
His kicking hasn't been as great tonight. That is just away to the right. Stuart Lowe keeps it in, but Brown can run. They have looked dangerous when they've gone for. Oh, there's a bad fumble from Uze. Neitz, well done, Stuart Lowe. So a good result for the Saints to get it out of bounds after they originally didn't get the scoring shot they would have liked.
Yeah, you look at little signs when you're watching a game of football to see who's on and who's not, and the forward-line pressure is one sign that can sometimes establish whether a side is really on mentally, and the Saints' forward pressure has been pretty good tonight.
Gee, the fumble was critical, wasn't it, from Uze?
Yes.
Lowe gives them a chance. Oh, gee, Wheatley had all night. Hamill scratching around for it. Moyle. Collins.
Great pressure.
Yeah, it was good pressure. Ward, who we haven't seen much of so far tonight. Second possession, in fact. White. Little twist and turn. Cameron Bruce. Gale right there with him. Bruce, well, he appeared to do well, but his handball went straight to the opposition. Thompson took him on. Gale. Harvey, sold Hayes into trouble, and he sold Bootham into more trouble. Godfrey. White running for him. The Demons going forward. Schwarz, some space either side of him. Gathered it nicely. Kazitsky was there to pounce.
Did well, the young fella. Did very well, Justin Kazitsky, in not giving away the free kick and forcing a turnover. Harvey was legged. Umpire said play on. Harvey got it back again. He was on the ground a minute ago. Robert Harvey goes for goal and misses off to the right.
What happened there? Was he actually paid the free kick or not?
Well, actually, not entirely sure. I don't think he was, actually.
Surely he was tripped.
Well, our eyes don't deceive us. I'd have to agree with you.
Uze to kick it back in for the Demons. 5-5 to 6-2. St Kilda lead by 3 points.
Interesting, the second quarter's got a different complexity about it to the first. More or less settling into this quarter a bit.
Uze to himself and then well outside the defensive 50. Big leap out there by White, couldn't take it. Kicked in by Moyle to Thompson, to Everett. Can he get his second big goal? Spider. Oh, there's going to be a goal to Callaghan. Callaghan kicks his second goal. And the question you ask is, how did Craig Callaghan get all on his own in the goal square at the end of the Peter Everett kick?
Well, he's gone on his own because he's used his brains. He's doubled back on the turnover and found himself in space. Spider's done well here. He was going to have a shot. It would have gone through anyway, obviously, but he saw Callaghan and he drew that kick and made it a pass. So Spider's on song tonight. It's great to see. He's a very entertaining player to watch when he's tracking the football like he is.
7-2-44 to 5-5-35. Important goal for the Saints. Early stage of this second quarter. White well and truly favoured down to Leoncelli. Through the midfield for the Demons tonight. Leoncelli's had 5 touches. Shane Woewodin just 3 touches. He kicked a lovely goal, but he hasn't done much else. Uze's had 10 kicks.
Andrew Thompson doing a pretty credible job on Woewodin so far, Hutto.
Yep, Everett over the top, White again. So that's a really intriguing battle, that one in the middle. Voss gathered it well. He just bombed away. Hayes is there though, and just lost his footing at the last minute, couldn't complete the mark. Wheatley. Well, was that deliberately out of bounds? No.
You'd asked the question, wouldn't you, Robbo?
Well, Kate Beetham certainly did.
I tell you a bit on the point of Woewodin, Hutto, I've been watching him since midway through that first quarter, and the amount of ground he covers, even though he's been blanketed, is incredible.
Yep. Well, they're talking about him over in the west as a possible target for either Fremantle or West Coast, whoever finishes on the bottom. Voss gets it forward, and there's a big chance for Lawrence.
There was some good umpiring there in the fact that he just let the umpire in the area of the ground where the play was, just let it go on until someone cleared it, and it favoured the Saints.
I think that's in the spirit of the rules too. I mean, we don't want to lock it up too quickly. Most teams want to keep the ball alive this year, and Lawrence is another guy who's ducked out in the back of traffic, found himself in space.
And the kick away to the right, so again, the kicking a goal is going to be such a factor, isn't it?
Well, it is, and both sides have let themselves down slightly tonight in that area of the game, particularly set shots, so you just don't want to miss those, and they hurt.
From not too tight angles. I mean, that was a relatively tight angle, but there was not really. There's sort of goals that should be really kicked.
Leoncelli accepted the kick in from Woewodin, goes out wide, where the mark has been taken by Brown. Brown now kicks the ball towards centre wing, and the mark not paid there to Anthony McDonald. Godfrey can't break away from the Voss tackle, and then eventually legged. Now, there wasn't an advantage because Uze, who was about to break away with the football, had a slight fumble, so the ball goes back to the player who was the recipient of the free kick in the first place, Simon Godfrey. He goes in towards the half-forward area. Gee, that was a good effort, wasn't it? The exuberant, enthusiastic, exciting Russell Robertson has got the ball. They need a goal back, Melbourne. They trail by 10 points.
You just use every E adjective in the dictionary there.
That's it. Robertson kicks it high. No mark at the front of the Melbourne goal. Saints under pressure. Hamill is back there defending. So is Delaney. Runs across the goal square and then kicks it out wide. The mark is taken by Justin Platt.
Saints have started to flood a bit. Pushing back though as Robertson does well because Everett was on then. Robertson into a pretty packed forward line. Neitz it behind Woewodin, presented himself. Bruce is lurking there, but the Saints defence managed to control it. Delaney had nowhere to go. In the end, he ran into Cameron Bruce. In the boundary line, Uze. And he just banged it on the boot. Kaczynski able to relieve. Now it's just a lot of space ahead for Nathan Burke here. So he can go for a bit of a run. He decides instead to kick well for Lenny Hayes. In fact, it's Boyle. And Stuart Lowe on the end of it. Trying to improve his angle now.
We all love watching clean football as Lowe goes inside. What's he got?
Crazy decision as it turned out. Brown, he didn't realise that Brown was awake to his plans, and the Demons away through Ward. Good spoil from Boss, setting up Thompson. Out wide, the runner is Platt. The fumble initially has got Hayes on here, about 55 from goal. Swings it in, Lowe's behind, and Brown, who's a very courageous player, takes a pretty good mark. He's going okay tonight, Nathan Brown. That's his 10th possession, and he's had 4 tackles. Not the greatest of kicks, but Wheatley does well.
It was important that he took that because Harvey, who nearly got his hands on the football, could have had a spot shot at goal. And well played by James McDonald. He was going to be tackled if he gathered. Brown, little left footer's pretty good too. And the mark is taken for Melbourne by Bruce. Who has he got the kick to? He's going to bomb away. Not a lot of method in that. The St Kilda defenders mop it up, and mop it up pretty well. Callahan's kick goes wide where Nathan Burke is marked at left half back. Short again, Gale. Close to the boundary line. White's got him. Got the handball away, but it fell at the feet of Bruce. He was able to gather. And then could he get through? Gale the tackler. Well done. White was always there as a target for the hand pass. If the player in question, Bruce, was in trouble. Then White's kick has been well marked by Neitz. In a pack of 4 or 5 players. It was a good mark, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a great mark. And it's a great mark because his eyes are on the ball all the way. And it's another example tonight where Neitz has just read it well through the air. Even the players in the pack, as you mentioned, Robbo, just a little nudge there to Moyle. And the arms go up. Paul was just not there in a position to take the arms.
Well, he can bring the margin back to 4 points if he can kick accurately. It's going to go through for a goal. Ooh. Centimetres in it, but it's a goal to Melbourne.
He'd be happy with that big David Neitz because, well, you wouldn't put your house on him from 50 out, Hutto, but it's a good pair of hands. It's just what the Demons needed. They've been showing some run. Cameron Bruce's efforts out there in the wing were good to find White. And a long kick forward usually, or sometimes, can pay dividends. We see here in the contest. Worked him under. And David Neitz at his best is just wrapping his big paws around footballs like that.
So Troy Simmons on the ground and Jeff White having a rest.
St Kilda swung a double change there. Beetham and his teammate Callahan came off. They've been replaced by Milne and Powell.
Whelan giving them some run out of the middle. From the side, Bruce. Free kick against him.
Yeah, don't know about those. I'm still not convinced. But I see a lot of players get away with that. It's often a line ball, but...
too blatant, though, isn't it?
Well, that's the other thing, Robbo. You could argue it was too blatant, but... well, the umpire certainly agrees with you.
Tim Elliott on the ground for the Saints. So interesting to see if he is used as a ruckman or an extra defender. McDonald over the top of it. Comes out for Delaney. Good shepherding by Powell. Kept Schwarz away from the contest. Hayes wasn't watching as the kick came in. And Ward takes the mark. And get the Demons moving again.
Delaney doing well with 10 kicks.
Schwarz taking on the diminutive Milne and going long for Robertson again. He is an
he was never going to get that.
He was not in it.
Exciting machine, isn't he? Nicholson's run down as the extra man. He went shorter. Nicholson's still on his own now. Lowe going to man up on him as Simmons.
Good to see this kid back. I saw him do his injury in the ANZAC Cup and it looked terrible. And he's just such an important player, not through sheer ability but presence for the Melbourne side because of what he offers to key positions and to Jeff White as a respite player.
Up to the square. Stuart Lowe as a defender and Kazitsky, they spoiled each other. And Royal conceded that. Maybe he didn't need to. But
you don't endear yourself to the crowds too much when you run it over like that, do you? Particularly the opposition ones, aren't they?
Just hesitated a bit there. I think in the end he just thought, take safety first. 7-3 to 6-6 there at Colonial Stadium. Good match between the Demons and the Saints as Justin Platt marks the kick in.
Still well entrenched in his defensive 50. And this kick probably won't advance the Saints all that much because he went wide for Gale. They keep possession of the ball. Barry Hall. He's got Moyle very wide, and that's the direction in which he heads. Moyle, who usually uses the ball pretty well. He's a trusty left footer, and that one goes in the direction of Lowe, punched away. Very disciplined play by Nicholson. Whelan dispossessed, wasn't Burke good. Awkward bounce of the ball here for Moyle, and eventually kicked forward by Leoncelli for Melbourne. Gathered by Bruce, gets good distance, squeezes the kick, all legitimate, all above board, just in front of Schwarz. He trundles over for a throw in. Melbourne into attack, right half forward, about 65 to 70 metres around from their goal. St Kilda leads 7-3-45. Melbourne is 6-6-42 in an entertaining clash, which the 4 points is quite critical for both of these teams. Nearly leaving it behind Leoncelli, able to get it to James McDonald. James McDonald, is that a good kick? Wasn't that a good kick? And Green is marked directly in front and really should kick a goal.
Well, we indicated before the game, Tony Delaney's had some big jobs placed in front of him this year. He usually gives away a bit of height, but nothing much in endeavour. But this matchup with Green, he's so good overhead, this bloke, and I don't see him miss too many from this position. 30 metres out.
Kicked 14 goals, 5 for the year.
Going from about 30 metres directly in front, and it sails through. Melbourne get their 7th goal and hit the front.
Well, that was his first kick, Green, and well, a handy one at that. So that puts, as Robbo said, Melbourne in front. There's no real indicator for this game as yet, as evidenced by the scoreline, that either side's gaining ascendancy in any particular area of the game. Both midfields have been very good, very diligent, very attacking with their mindset. This is a fantastic pass here by McDonald on his left foot. And look at that, plenty of space to work into, and Green finishes the job.
Anthony McDonald came off the ground after that terrific pass. It looks like he's hurt his shoulder, boys, so we'll keep an eye on him.
Is it James McDonald or Anthony McDonald?
I'm sorry, James McDonald, thank you.
It's all right, I'm just going to keep you on your toes, Dipper.
No, actually, it's Anthony. I'll stick with that one.
All right.
Is that Schwarz having a rest there too, Dipper?
Yes, it is, David. Schwarz, that is. Paul?
It's a long day, isn't it, Dip?
7-6-48 to 7-3-45. No other place he'd rather be than at the footy. Dipper. Moyle out of the middle. Burke went to ground, so the Saints have got to respond here.
8 possessions to Moyle.
You mentioned it in your call just a moment ago. He's an impressive disposal of the ball, isn't he?
It looks awkward, but it's very effective. A la Kenny Hunter, who played with the Blues and had an awkward kicking style, but was quite effective.
Simmons doing the ruck work against Tim Elliott. As we said, he's on the ground. Spider having a rest at the moment.
And so is James McDonald.
Well, you're right now, Dip. You've got them both there, keeping you company. That looks...
I was right with the soldier. Forget it.
There looks plenty in that, doesn't it? 2 of the medical staff attending to one of the McDonald boys.
Yeah, that's the safest way, isn't it? One of the McDonald boys.
It's James, trust me.
Whelan. Whelan through the middle. The switch is on. It's Anthony McDonald getting the kick, and this is Scott Thompson on for his first run. His first kick in AFL footy. Green didn't take the mark. Was quick to pounce, so was Delaney. Harvey. Gee, that was a lightning handball by Harvey, wasn't it? Kaczynski away. Voss, plenty of space to work in. Hamill's loose at half forward. Kept it, he had to keep it low. He didn't keep it quite low enough. Hamill kept his feet though, and off the left boot. His kick is not great. Powell marked it, it was over the line.
The goal umpire
There is no way that should have been a mark.
Say about that.
There is no way that should have been a mark. It's resulted in a goal. That's extraordinary. That is just extraordinary.
Well, if you ever wanted an argument for 2 boundary umpires on both, or 4 boundary umpires.
Paul, the goal umpire was right on the scene. I mean, they do help. When the kick comes in towards the behind post, the goal umpire helps the boundary umpire, correct? Now, on this occasion, he sees the ball slip out of his hand.
Well, I think he was out of vision. It was out of his vision.
Out of bounds by a mile.
It certainly was. There's no argument there, but we're in a great spot to pick that up. I think the goal umpire was there, thwarted a little bit by the Melbourne player. Just cut his line of vision there, but Powell's very lucky to get away with that
Very
one,
kind, Paul. He must be your uncle, that goal umpire down there. 8 goals, 3 to 7-6, and Kilda lead now by 3 points. So the lead changing a couple of times in this term.
Could imagine you as a goal umpire, actually, Fish.
Kick forward by Moyle, gathered by Callaghan. Not quite as efficient as it could have been. Thompson and Callaghan. Still Callaghan. forces it forward for the Saints. In trouble back there was Wheatley, got it to his fellow defender in Ward. Missing his target was Simmons. Back in went Lawrence for the Saints. And it's locked up 52 metres from St Kilda's goal. The scoreboard showing the Saints holding a 3-point advantage, and we're close to the long break.
I think we don't give the umpires enough credit sometimes, guys, that's all. We need to acknowledge them. Tough job they do, Hutto.
Yeah, terrific job. Burke gets it moving. Off the left. Just away it was again for a behind. Harvey does look dangerous. He's had 9 possessions, 4 kicks and 5 handballs.
He does look dangerous, doesn't he? He just provides a lot of run, a lot of dash, and mentioning the respective teams' forward lines are really just taking it up a gear tonight. We're getting some really hot contests forward in the forward 50s.
Uze. He's had 11 kicks tonight and 1 handball. Oh, that's a great spoil. Keep it alive. Stephen Lawrence, one thing he does really add to them. There's another tackler in their forward line if he's playing forward as he is tonight. He works really hard at locking the ball in.
Well, we saw we heard Peter Jonas say at quarter time that the St Kilda team are doing what they've been asked to do before the game, and I think that's one of the areas Malcolm Blight would have said, Robbo, stand up and be counted tonight.
Gee, didn't he look desperate there, Stevie Lawrence?
Hamill really making his presence felt up there. Lawrence, tough for Callaghan underneath this. Low arrived late. Ward, good smother. It's a terrific smother by Powell in conjunction with Hayes. And a ball up.
Well, if you're going to go to a footy match, you ask for a few things. That is some high marks, some great goals, and 100% commitment by respective teams, and they're not letting us down tonight.
Actually, it was a bit of an airy, wasn't it?
Very familiar with those.
Yes, I'm sure you are.
Golf.
Uze on the top, well done by Harvey to keep it alive. Voss has got the run here, and Leoncelli did an excellent job in ensuring that the behind was the result of that. So 5 points the difference. It's pretty hard to run a line through the form of both sides tonight out there, isn't it? To work out who's going to win this game.
Well, you can't, and that's the beauty of this game. That's why I'm enjoying it so much, is because there's no... that was a very courageous kick out there. Because the zones, everyone's got plenty of movement in the zone there. It's quite obvious to me that it appears Spider having a rest while White has a rest, when Simmons comes on the ground.
Robertson, hand pass over the top. Demons have numbers there. Brown goes very wide. It's effective. Marcus taken by Anthony McDonald. Handball on Thompson. He's done enough to suggest that he'll be a handy player. And that pass was excellent to Neitz. Look at White. White's come off the bench. He's on his own in the pocket. But Neitz decides that he will shoot for goal. The player on the mark is about 40 metres, maybe a little closer, 35 metres from goal, Barry Hall. So David Neitz, confident that he can kick the distance. If he can kick this goal, Melbourne will be in front once again by just 1 point. The kick goes very wide into the pocket, the right pocket. Delaney over the top. Some desperate stuff needed back there from Brad Green. And he does well at least to hold it in the forward line for Melbourne.
Did a magnificent job then, Brad Green.
Yeah, he wasn't in that. Delaney had the run of the ball, and Green's coming underneath, done a fantastic job. But early observation, Scotty Thompson looks like this league football just fits him like a glove. He's very impressive with his first few touches.
So in the right forward pocket for Melbourne, with 3.5 to close to 4 minutes left in the first half, Nathan Burke gets it back. Lawrence couldn't take the mark. White the ruck work, taken by Powell. Little hand pass Lawrence. Wider still, that was pretty good. Moyle coughs it up. Uze will kick Melbourne into attack, and Woewodin judged it better and has marked, and he's on his favourite side of the ground, coming in from the right half forward flank area. The left footer has an ideal shot at goal here to maybe put the Demons in front by 1 point.
Well, he's looked dangerous. He's drifted forward on a few occasions. I'll keep my eye on where he's actually starting, but he might just test Andrew Thompson out a little bit if he's going to float forward and be another option, leading option, because he's got the pace and he's got the hands.
Just his second kick, Shane Woewodin.
Lovely.
And he's beautifully guided that through, hasn't he? Melbourne by a point.
Well, he's playing at half forward at the moment, actually, Woewodin, so Thompson's been doing a tremendous job on him so far tonight. That's why Woewodin's second goal for the evening. And, well, looking very dangerous. Some of the matchups are quite interesting tonight. We've seen both sides really testing one another out. Woewodin's just kicked his 50th goal of his career, which is plenty to get excited about, Anthony.
Well, there's plenty to get excited about in this game. 1 point is the margin. I did say off air before this game started, Fish, I thought this might be a draw tonight, so that's an early call, I know, but there's only 1 point the difference.
No one heard you, Hutto.
You know, with the betting, you get 25 to 1 at half-time if they're level, and 25 to 1 at the end of the game.
There you go. Moyle up towards full forward.
Kick a point and you'll have a draw here.
Powell. Still 2 quarters to go.
At half-time, we're close to it.
Hamill. Callahan. He bends it, but not enough.
How much money you want on, Robbo? I'm on now. I've got the phone in my ear.
Well, I know a chap who does a bit of work timekeeping for the reserves football. He plays golf down at Huntingdale, and he likes that bet. He likes the odds. Well, he'd be sitting on a 25 to 1 winner right now. Unfortunately, he's got 2 anxious minutes left.
Doesn't the pun add just another dimension to the game of football?
So Uze with the footy, 8-6-54, both teams. Elliott, Wheatley got a shove in the back. He slipped over a bit there, wide advantage, taken by Elliott, and a good kick in for Callahan. And you'd think he would score from there.
Gee, that was ugly by Jeff White, wasn't it?
Just looked a little clumsy too.
Yeah.
I think he's hurt himself a little bit. He's talking the umpire out of shot at the moment, off screen, about possible shepherd, but it looked pretty clumsy from here.
Callahan, it's close. It is very close. It's through. So 3 goals for Craig Callahan.
It's a very handy performance by Callahan so far tonight. 3 goals out of a small forward. It was a great night's work, but there's still half the football to go. And well, it's only a 6-point break. But Saints have been the better of the two sides over the last few minutes of play. And with only a couple minutes remaining, you don't want a late goal.
Well, Callahan was benched about halfway through the term, but he's done pretty well, kicking 3 goals from just 6 kicks. Burke receiving, gets the kick towards half forward. Harvey, Wheatley, Robert Harvey's gone though. McDonald, the tackler, umpire allowed play to go on. Thought Harvey was a little lucky there because he did have a chance to get rid of the ball. He was well tackled from behind.
I think he found it. I think he somehow found the ball to his boot. Here we watch here. Just
no, he didn't. You were right.
So the bounce of the ball about 60 metres from the St Kilda goal. Important in the last minute for both sides. Melbourne to hold the Saints up, and the Saints are within goal-scoring range. If they could sneak another one and go in with a 12-point advantage, they'd be fairly pleased with their first half efforts.
Not many. There's lots of hard balls out there tonight, isn't there? In these clinches, they're earning their keep tonight, these boys.
60 plays 54, close to the half-time break, and the umpire to restart play. Elliott doing the ruck work. Ball spills to Collins. He wasn't able to break away. That desperado Lawrence is in there, in underneath there, Stephen Lawrence. Umpire will call for another bounce.
It is a good word to describe Stephen Lawrence, isn't it? Desperado. He's just fierce at the footy.
Look, this is the fiercest I've seen him so far this year. I might be being too hard, but this is...
No, I think I'm a bit with you. He's been a little sort of, not standoffish, but certainly unsure of himself, I feel.
Hamill tries to sneak through, got a high tackle. Advantage not paid. The ball was kicked and didn't make it anyway. But he ducked his head there, Hamill, and I'm not sure about that free kick. I'd like to see it again.
We'll have a look at it again, but regardless of whether it's a free kick or not, technically he's earned one. His efforts over the last few minutes of his in the forward 50 here, well, it is there. But he went low over the ball, and we see a lot of those free kicks paid.
I believe that if you duck your head, you forfeit.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, Hutto. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but he went low, he lost his footing. It's pretty hard on the opposition though, isn't it?
Yep. Well, how do you tackle someone if they duck their head? 9-6-60 to 8-6-54. Kick 1 goal, 1 tonight, Aaron Hamill. Distance was always going to test him, and going for the extra distance, he let himself down with the accuracy. So it's half-time. It's not a draw, but it's very close, and there's a bit of feeling in this game. And Aaron Hamill certainly letting McDonald know all about it. There's just a bit of angst between the two teams.
Bit of fire, isn't there? Look at this. Got to be very careful. We don't want to inflame it too much.
It almost constitutes a melee, that, almost.
McDonald's been relentless in his attack on Lawrence.
Yep.
They're still at it.
Leoncelli. Well, there's one thing about the Melbourne Footy Club, and to a lesser degree St Kilda, but the Melbourne boys certainly know how to talk it up and on the field and antagonise, and there's a lot of spirit in this game. There's no doubt about that. It's been
Start of the third quarter. 9-6-60 plays 8-6-54. It's been very tight right throughout the game. Let's see how this second half starts. And as we mentioned, when they left the field at the end of the second quarter, there was a bit of feeling in it, a bit of pushing and shoving. Plenty of words spoken, so we'll see how that affects things at the start of this quarter. Everett with the tap, but Ward can use Jeff White here. Got Whelan running for him, but decides to go with the left foot up to the wing, looking for Robertson instead. A fluky bounce. Robertson receives it eventually. Whelan. This is Thompson. McDonald went for the talk. Schwarz is in excellent position to mark this one. He was always in the right position there, and Gazitsky was just under the footy a bit.
He certainly was there, Hutto. It was the only option available to McDonald there to go long, and he did, and Schwarz is a good spot. He's found someone.
Good kick.
No, in the end it wasn't, Voss. Got the fist to the footy. Oh, Thompson went to ground. He made the most of that opportunity, didn't he? His first game, and he's acting already.
Oh, you're a hard man, Hutto, but...
Did he have the ball?
I don't know if you look, he drew the free kick quite well. He's been pretty impressive early.
Full credit to him.
Here he goes. He didn't have possession, and he was thrown to one side. Now, he may have put a bit more on it. Moyle was unhappy about it.
He actually didn't take possession of the ball, and the other boy, Moyle, anticipated him collecting it.
Yes.
And applied the tackle, so it's an infringement.
Oh, yeah. Certainly was there. Here he comes. Thompson.
Good kick
his
too.
first goal in AFL footy, and scores a level again.
Well, good on him, and all the Demon players come over to say, well done, son. He's been very impressive since the first time he stepped foot on the field tonight in that second term, and he followed through the contest out here on the wing, got into the corridor where the ball was. There he is, getting thrown to one side by Moyle. Schwarz and Melbourne, for that matter, a little lucky to get away with that, because he switched to the side of the corridor where, well, geez, you want to have a paddock before you actually took that option. And Schwarz, well, goal to the Demons.
Well, a young man just trying to carve a career for himself. Scott Thompson has got the goal for Melbourne, but St Kilda go immediately back into attack. Hamill was good, feeding it off to Powell. Powell goes in neatly, kicks the goal for St Kilda. Robert Powell has kicked two. And very quickly, the Saints breaking from the centre. Everett, Harvey. Thought Hamill was pretty good here.
That back door in the centre bounce, Robbo, has been open most of the night, and finally Spider's been trying to work it there, and Harvey was on the end of it. That was a fantastic tap out, a double-handed one. So the Melbourne boys in the middle just going to be aware of that, try and chop that line off, but a fantastic quick answer there to the Demons.
And Woewodin now on Hamill there, boys. Interesting move, that one.
Neil Danaher and Chris Fagan combining there with instructions down to the interchange bench. Melbourne forced the ball forward once again, and it goes to Ward. Ward's kick into the full forward area. Neitz falls over.
Beautiful.
Didn't Barry Hall play it pretty well? Short kick. Has that been marked by Begley? According to the umpire, he's going to be paid. Anthony McDonald minding the mark. Begley's kick goes past the wing. Low. Can't take the mark, but wasn't it brilliantly gathered by Harvey? Kicks the ball in towards half forward. Dangerous area for the Melbourne defence. They're under pressure. Lawrence is there applying the tackle. and eventually the umpire will call for a bounce. Robert Powell, Andrew Leoncelli.
Look at that, Robbo, on screen now as Harvey just front and squared that. Read off the hands beautifully. He's a marvel, that play.
St Kilda lead by 6 points. The umpire to bounce the ball 50 metres from the St Kilda goal. Ruck work being done by Lowe and Nicholson. Congestion, Lowe. Well done there by Whelan. Lenny Hayes. Lawrence, kick smothered off the boot. Hamill gathers, hooks the kick to the goal square. Dangerous area for the Demons. Where are the Crummers? Powell! A la Woewodin earlier, but didn't have the required accuracy and scores a behind.
See, we saw Powell then, I think, telling his teammates, maybe Spider, to talk.
Yeah.
Just let him know that he had time to pick the ball up, maybe.
It's funny, we've heard a few players of recent times say, well, in this stadium when it's closed and the crowd's up and fired up, as they are tonight, it's pretty hard to communicate out there.
Yep. It is a. Lowe's in good position here. Well done, Nicholson. He just used the body to get him out of that good position. Godfrey's handball, Woewodin going backwards. Had to hook it round the corner, and the man in the road who started this quarter very well, Harvey. Lowe, looks like he's got his name on this one. He's pretty hard to budge.
Well, he was the target, and Robert Harvey's taken his game up another level early in this third term.
3 possessions already in this quarter.
They've been good ones too. Brown just really was neither here nor there with that contest, neither going for the mark or taking the arm out. So they could pay a price here if Stewie Lowe can kick accurately, and he's pretty good in this position normally. He's improved out of sight.
Take the margin up to 13 points too for the Saints. Oh
dear.
Shock.
We'll teach you to wrap him up, Hutto.
Is there anything he does, Paul, that you could define accurately that leads to the errors that he makes like that?
Oh, look, far be it for me to suggest, but there's a slight lift in the ball before it leaves the hands to boot, and sometimes that can mean an ill-directed contact from ball to boot. So, but he's been working on it long and hard. 300 games. I don't think he's going to get it right at this late stage.
Well, they're going to get a goal here, aren't they? With Robert Harvey streaming towards the goals, and Lowe is on the end of it. Only metres from goal. The angle will be reasonably severe, you would think. The umpire asking him to move even further around. I don't think the umpire's finished just yet. He still hasn't finished.
It's as if Robert Harvey and Stuart Lowe have got the radar working early in this quarter, and Stewie said, bring me into the game, little fella. It's working well so far.
Well, this is one that he just has to convert. They lead by 8 points. Lowe can give them a 14-point lead if he kicks accurately here. Melbourne have kicked a goal, but St Kilda, this will be their second goal in this term, and Lowe has kicked accurately. A couple of goals now to Stuart Lowe, and all of a sudden, St Kilda out to a 14-point advantage, and we've seen a lot of that man in the last 2 weeks in the press.
Some would say way too much of that man, Robbo, but nonetheless, he'd be a bit worried at the moment because the Saints, as you see Robert Harvey going long and to the favoured side of Stuart Lowe, he won't let you down, and it was a good finish. The Saints have been on top early in this third quarter.
A very busy week it's been at Demon Land, and at the moment 14 points. It's not a huge margin, but they'd just be having their concerns at the moment. Nicholson well wrapped up. The Saints are pretty desperate. Godfrey's kick smothered. Harvey, McDonald, Nicholson. Pretty good kick really under the circumstances, although it does find the boundary line eventually, before Begley could stop it.
The Melbourne team really need to do something with their centre-bound setups at the minute. They either should go to a man-up situation or start a little bit defensively, trying to create some neutrals, because the clearances have been critical early in this third quarter.
Well, they've lost 3 in a row, of course, the Demons. Saints only a couple of wins for the year. Harvey, oh, the man was on over the top, Moyle. Lawrence, Harvey, almost within range, goes for the pass instead, and great precision to find Aaron Hamill in a goal-scoring position, and Robert Harvey has been the star of this third quarter.
Geez, hasn't he taken it up another gear? Robert Harvey in his third quarter is fantastic to watch. Look at this, nothing on offer on which would make the kick easy for him. He's actually brought it back across his body and still managed to hit Hamill out in front running hard. You'd have to change pace, Hamill, and you can see Hamill after he took the mark looking in Robert Harvey's direction saying thank you very much.
He's been good, Hamill, and this distance won't worry him, and the accuracy is no problem either. Saints are away now, 20 points the margin, and they look the most likely team, but we know all about the fading Saints.
Look at Hamill just run back to the centre and say thank you very much, Robbie Harvey, because he was absolutely over the moon, Hamill, when that ball landed right out in front. And here we see Harvey. He's just created so much.
Just kept running, didn't he?
Hasn't he? And we know he's capable of it. That's what he does. That's how he plays his footy. And Hamill, look at that. Thank you.
Gee, everything about that little left foot kick from Robert Harvey just had big ticks beside it. It was just a beautiful kick waited for Hamill. He was able to mark and kick his second goal and give the Saints a 20-point advantage. Kick forward by James McDonald towards half forward. Platt couldn't take the mark. The crumbs should be gathered and will be by Melbourne. Uze kicking towards the pocket. Oh, top effort. An excellent effort by Brett Voss. And he's in the right back pocket. He'll go in towards the full back area where it's taken by Moyle. He in turn goes wider still. Burke has a little bit of space. He's got no one really to kick to. So he's got to go to a vacant area on centre wing. Callaghan and Whelan.
Close to the boundary line. Over.
Did a good job there, Callaghan. Under some duress. He had no options, had no support. He's done the right thing. Got a boundary throw in.
Plenty of support from the vocal Saints fans, though. But look at that one. 12-8-80 plays 9-6-60. 20 points the difference. White, decisive tap. Back for Brown. This is Whelan now. Can give them some run off half back. Oh, he missed his target. Missed it badly. Open opportunity there for Begley. Tackled too high. McDonald will probably argue that he did duck. He was falling down a little bit. Begley then. Hamill away to the left, but he goes for Burke. So it really doesn't help the cause all that much. Hamill leads down the middle. And Whelan gets back to help Woewodin. Woewodin running for him to provide an option, but Whelan taking his time.
He's doing the right thing here. Everyone's accounted for upfield. He's going to be left with little option but to go long, probably out to this side. But
umpire's called him on now. In the end, he's kicked it for Uze. Just couldn't hang on to a pal. He waited too till the traffic went by. Good interception from Scott Thompson. Got a high tackle perhaps. Got it away anyway to Leoncelli. It's open. It's all open from here on in because they pushed up the ground. Ward, Robertson got Bruce to make sure that he gets there. Then Robertson strolls in and goes bang. So Melbourne get a desperately needed goal on a fast break. And it was young Scott Thompson who started it all.
certainly was there, Hutto, as we see the ball come into the forward line. That's after all the hard work was done. They just couldn't create something, and if it was going to be created, that would be created out of nothing. And there it was. Robertson has finished the job. But if he looks back upfield, if he finds the eyes of young Scott Thompson, he should just give him a wink and say, well done.
And I think Justin Platt would have a look at that replay and ask himself, did he bend down far enough? Because overrunning the ball across half-back was critical. Ward was onto it, and the hand pass for Robertson resulted in a goal. Hayes from the resultant centre bounce. Whelan's a chance. Handballs, hits at the target. Anthony McDonald, left foot kick, Thompson. No mark. Woewodin at the fall of the ball. Tackled, well tackled by Delaney. Desperate stuff by the St Kilda midfielder and negator, Tony Delaney. And he gets a pat from 3 or 4 very important senior players there. And that's the sort of thing that you need. Those players that aren't automatic selections in the team, doing those desperate things like Tony Delaney did just there.
Nicholson's gone on to Hamill now, so he's got his third opponent.
From the ruck contest, Burke gathers, hooks the kick over his left shoulder, and the mark is taken by Lawrence in front of James McDonald. Stephen Lawrence too far out to score.
He's been good tonight, hasn't he, Lawrence?
3 kicks, 5 hand passes, but importantly 5 very, very fierce tackles. Whelan chipping in once again, just switches the play wide for White. He combines with Neitz. Now an opportunity here with Green. Green can straighten up onto his left, kick in towards half forward, good lead, excellent kick, and the mark is taken by Bruce.
Wasn't that fantastic football there? And there's plenty of space for Bruce to work into, but the execution of the skill couldn't have been better. He's just such a wonderful exponent of the drop punt, this Green. And Brad, and he's given Bruce every opportunity here because he's in front. He's going to have to kick it from about the 50-metre line, but it's not beyond him.
Well, 3 goals to St Kilda in this term saw them with a 20-point lead, but all of a sudden 2 goals back to the Demons, and it is back to an 8-point margin in favour of St Kilda.
Well, it's funny how momentum can swing ever so slightly and even be misleading at times, because St Kilda have been the better side, or the better team, probably in the last half an hour of football, incorporating this third term. But here is Melbourne have just found some space on the turnovers and made full use of it, and Bruce is able to finish that off. Very good start, and I'd like to make a quick observation that Spider Herbert has not jumped this well at centre bounce for a long time.
12,880 to 11,672. Let's have a look at Everett then in the ruck. Beaten this time by White. McDonald charging through. Well wrapped up by Andrew Thompson.
What I meant when I said I haven't seen him jump this well, he's jumping aggressively and he's jumping through the contest. He's not upright. He's been rucking quite well lately, and tonight it's just an extension of where he's been taking his game, I think, over the last few weeks.
Gee, the pattern of this game is just following the pattern of the game the last time these two teams played. In round 19 last year, where St Kilda led at half-time.
Inside 50, Robertson smashing it, opening up the chance for Green. Voss, and it's a ball up.
Just to go on with that, at half-time in this match last year, at round 19, St Kilda 10-8 led Melbourne 7-11 at half-time. At three-quarter time, St Kilda were 12-11 to Melbourne 11-13. Melbourne kicked 6 goals to 2 in the last term and ran out winners.
Well, Saints will be obviously hoping that doesn't happen tonight. Platt gets it into the middle. Lawrence hitting the contest pretty hard. So did McDonald. Harvey just pinned down by Nathan Brown, but still he got the kick and still it was effective. Hamill got Hayes pushing forward. Lowe's got space to lead into. Whelan couldn't get back in time, but that's there now. Lowe did all the hard work, didn't he, then, and just couldn't complete the mark. Lawrence has either done a hamstring. I think Lawrence has done a hamstring again, and he's devastated. He's gone off the ground. He's in absolute agony. We'll get to him in a moment. Harvey getting it back from Milne. Quick kick away. Hayes, nowhere to go. Burke helped him out. Got Milne running by. Well done, Burke, to keep it alive, but Whelan giving them some run, giving them some dash through the middle to centre-half forward. Schwarz, Voss from the side, made the spoil, it's dangerous. Bruce got the handball out. Moyle had to be good, couldn't get through. It's still alive. Free kick going Melbourne's way. Advantage not taken by Schwarz. Kicks it behind.
Well, there was St Kilda in trouble there from that initial contest at half-back. They had too many blokes going in the air, competing, and as you see Stephen Lawrence on the boundary there, you're right, he's in a lot of trouble there with his hamstring. And,
that is a really painful one.
Yeah, well, they are.
He looks emotional.
Well, if you've done a good tear, if he's got a grade 2 or 3 tear there, you'll be in a lot of discomfort.
Got a chance to go forward again, the Demons. Thompson across half forward, little tap on was all right. Kick forward by Uze to the goal square, and they've got it. It is Bruce who will go for his 3rd goal, and if he kicks this, well, probably for about the 3rd, maybe the 4th time in this game, the margin will be just 1 point.
Well, he shouldn't miss from here, Robbo. He's had the radar working tonight.
Cameron Bruce from point-blank range kicks the goal, his third. Good return for the young forward for Melbourne. 3 goals out of 12. St Kilda lead by a point.
Certainly an engrossing game of football, to say the least. As we look at Lawrence again on the boundary, it's his left hamstring. Let's see if we can pick it up here. He's stretched. He's over. There it is. It would appear that's where he's blowing it. And it can be like a severe cramp when you do it. And it's a bit of bother. He'd be shattered.
Stephen Lawrence. Still the agony of it all. And just to make matters worse, the Saints are now under real pressure on the ground again after getting away to a 20-point lead. Harvey's still going well though. Everett into the danger area. Whelan, a fluky bounce, well trapped by Nicholson. She did that well. Brown away for Uze. Moyle. Oh, Uze ran with the footy. And he kicked it out of the forward, so the pressure was still there. Uze's had 15 kicks with just the 1 handball tonight. Doesn't worry about the handballs too often, Adam Uze. Moyle sets it up. Hamill's behind this time. He read it pretty well. Nicholson feeding it out. And they're away. This is Whelan. Good switch through the middle of the ground. Here he is again. And the lead is on for Schwarz, who takes the grab.
Too far out.
They've gone smaller
Thompson
in the forward line. The Demons. Bruce takes the mark. He's off, surely. No, maybe not. Maybe he wasn't off. He was almost off. Neitz is now playing in defence back on Hamill.
He was as off then as David Neitz was earlier in the game when David Neitz was penalised for being caught with a ball.
He goes for Wheatley, so he's improved the angle quite a bit.
You know, if I was Bruce, I might have had a shot. He's been kicking it pretty well tonight.
Yeah. And Wheatley not a particularly noted goal kicker, I don't think, in his fairly short career. He's just kicked the 2 goals for the season so far, and in his career Wheatley has kicked 6. And still has kicked 6.
Right on the top of the post.
Now, Hutto, you mentioned that Harvey's had a terrific night. What about young Whelan for the Demons?
Yep.
Plenty of run out of the back line, also very skillful, and we see Stewie Lowe also coming off the ground.
It was a mitre 10 shot at goal, 10 out of 10, right on the top of the post.
Scores a level again, so did tip that draw, don't forget. Here's Begley getting them going, the Saints again. Here's Whelan again. Good work from Callaghan to make this, in the end, make the spoil. McDonald getting away. The switch is certainly on. Leoncelli got Robertson out wide. Might go more direct than that. No, he doesn't go more direct. Goes for Thompson. Harvey late on the scene. Well done by Thompson. Kept the footing. And just a little bit of a fumble. But the Demons still very much a chance here, Platt. And they've worked it well, the Saints. Boss bombs away. There's no one there. Well flooded back into defence. Neitz, as we said, is now back in defence. But it's working well for them. Leoncelli providing the run. Not a great handball. In fact, it was a very poor handball. Delaney, Voss. They're a bit stagnant, the Saints, though, aren't they? They're a bit flat-footed just at the moment. Across the ground. Hall. Looped it off. Burke's going to have to get rid of it pretty quickly. Oh, he had options. Unfortunately, couldn't get to it. Actually helped out the Saints there, Ward, with that little tap on. Mill went to ground. Got the ball moving. Powell out on the full.
Well, you just get the impression that St Kilda had taken the gas, put off the pedal a little bit, but now they've stepped it back up again. But Melbourne are doing all the running at the minute.
Well, problem here for the Demons. St Kilda get possession of the ball in the middle. Delaney's little kick missed Powell, which it was intended for. Well done by Neitz. Got the ball down to James McDonald. He in turn goes wide to Wheatley. They've got a chance now. On the wing on his own was Simmons. To Thompson. Thompson to half forward. Gathered by Bruce. Wide at Green. Now Harvey. Tackled, didn't have the ball. St Kilda defence now under pressure. At centre half back, Woewodin and Mark Gale. And the umpire will call for a bounce. The crowd now getting right into this game because scores have been tied up once again. Close to the half-time break, we had a very much goal for goal. And at the long break, St Kilda had a 6-point advantage. And with 3 3/4 minutes left in the third term, scores are tied up once again. Schwarz tries to get away, and then hand pass to Woewodin, who was in a bit of trouble there, going nowhere. Harvey flipped it out the back there to Burke. Burke goes wider still. Moyle, who's a natural left, kicks with the right, does all right. Hamill punched away. Burke, good kick. Spotted his teammate in Powell. The kick went a little bit too far. The attack on the football by Nicholson was excellent. Now, an opportunity there for Melbourne's Nathan Brown.
It looks like
Barry Hall's gone.
Yeah, Barry Hall down 4, but also Godfrey, who's played on Harvey all night, is coming off the ground. He's absolutely exhausted, and Woewodin is now picking up Robert Harvey.
Bounce of the ball about 40 metres from the St Kilda goal. 12-8, 80 apiece.
Yes, lots of tactics between these two coaches, with Neitz going back first and then Hall up to attack to try and stretch the Demons in defence. It'll be interesting to see which coach continues to initiate moves and which one sits back.
Well, it's a credit to the players that they're being moved around like they are, but they're still all applying themselves extremely well. And that set play there with Everett and the ball up in the forward 50 just didn't quite come up on that occasion.
It's a big kick in, wasn't it? Almost to the centre circle. Uzo has to be careful. Callahan went down, the umpire ignored it. Simmons takes the mark, feeds it off. Woewodin, good looking kick, the lead. Green went thumping to ground. Doubling back Clapp. Got Harvey as an option on the way out. Oh, did he play on? No. This is Mark Gale. Good kick for Burke, who takes an excellent overhead mark.
Great grab by Nathan.
What a great mark. Sensational, like he's hurt his left knee here. Keep an eye on him.
Doesn't look good, does he, Dipper?
Gale. It's a terrific
Berkey definitely in trouble down here. He'll push on though in Berkey.
Smother by Wheatley was first class. Burke, and you've picked that in one. He's just an absolute trooper, isn't he, Nathan Burke? Good mark, and just went down, grimacing, holding his leg. But he's going to stay there for the remaining minutes of this third quarter, one would suggest. Thompson's flying shot at goal, and Andrew Thompson has kicked the Saints' 13th goal.
Well, Spider Everett has played a tremendous game as a ruckman tonight. He set up another goal there out the back, and they've been very disciplined at these stop-play situations, the Saints. So, you know, all due credit to all of them. It's Spider's 11th hit out. He's also kicked a goal tonight, but he's had a hand in a few, and this is just one. And that's a great running. He's running at full tilt there, Thompson, and be able to steady on his left and put that through.
Well, Paul, he's kicked a goal, but importantly in his matchup with Shane Woewodin, who's kicked a couple, he's restricted Woewodin to just 6 possessions.
Yeah, Woewodin now playing on Robert Harvey. Thompson's still running with Woewodin though, so we'll watch that one. You see it just away to our left of the screen. There they are. So the Saints back up by 7. The momentum has switched again, hasn't it? Harvey, what a quarter he's played. Here's Barry Hall, Nicholson right there with him. Hall went a long way back for Thompson. Harvey's had 14 possessions for the quarter, and that's a good lead. Hamill, I reckon, is out of range from here though. He wants to pass, he does, that's okay. And the Spiders certainly within range, so good result for the Saints.
Hamill 7 marks and 16 possessions, a couple of goals.
Look, he's been without doubt one of St Kilda's best players tonight, and he's passed it off to another one of their best players tonight, Peter Everett. And he's just talking about his rucking game in the ruck tonight. It's been fantastic. He's played a thinking man's ruckman's game tonight with his sit-outs and his position around the ground.
Very important kick for the Saints from Everett. He just pushed it away to the left, but it swung back, and it's got through. So the Saints now out to a 13-point lead. 14-9-93 to 12-8-80 as we head towards the three-quarter time break.
Well, we've had 3 momentum shifts this quarter alone, and the first one was the Saints got off to fly in this quarter. Melbourne's come back at them and drew the game at 80 points apiece, but the last couple of goals, the last few minutes has been all St Kilda again, and credit to them because, well, stats, history doesn't lie, and they've got a habit of just dropping off a little bit, but there's no sign of that whatsoever at this point in time.
5 goals 3 to 4 goals 2. in favour of St Kilda in this turn. Simmons may get a free kick.
Schwarz has gone back into defence.
Free kick was against Everett. Well, it goes to Simmons. He hand passes off to the running player in Ward, who kicks the ball directly towards goal. No mark, so where are the spillage? It lands in the hands of Thompson. Got the handball to Leoncelli. He can go to centre half forward. The player on his own was Brown. He ignored that. Kazitsky, little kick is very good. Milne, he also spots a player closer to the middle. It's Powell, whose delivery is usually pretty good. On this occasion, a bit of an up and under. Oh, and the mark's been taken by Hall anyway.
How about that for a nonchalant one-on-one contest? Fantastic marks. The siren goes.
Well, a big kick now, isn't it? 13-point advantage when scores were level about 6 minutes ago.
Look at Blighty. Just a little wry grin then.
He'll be really happy with the way the boys have finished off this quarter, because Melbourne bit hard, but they've responded so well, the Saints. There'll be some justice if Barry can convert here.
Well, as I said, the scores were level only a matter of 4 or 5 minutes ago. Hall to stretch it out to 19. Hall does just that. Barry Hall has kicked the Saints' 15th goal right on the three-quarter time break, and it is a 19-point advantage enjoyed by St Kilda. They lead 15-9-99 to Melbourne 12-8-80.
So the last quarter from Colonial Stadium. Saturday night footy continues. Round 10, the Saints and the D's. And the Saints leading by 19. Jose lost it. Brett Voss. Is that in the back? No.
Just talking about St Kilda there, boys. We saw Stewie Lowe come off the ground before. He's got his left knee all strapped up. He's still doing run-throughs up and down the boundary line, but we'll just keep an eye on him.
And in the background there is the disconsolate Stephen Lawrence, who came off during that third term with a leg injury.
Yes, didn't look a very happy camper, did he? McDonald up towards full forward. Big leap from Green. Moyle. Delaney. We've got an outside 50, but Nathan Brown, Adam Uze.
Gee, there's 3 in the pocket.
Now with a bit of a run-up, Ward. Maybe fancies his chances from there. Unfortunately, the kick dropping short. Bruce. Thompson. Woewodin. He's kicked 2. Went for his third. And that's a terrific mark from Green. Blake, I think, is just on the ground. And Brad Green, their small forwards keeping them in at the Demons.
He's been impressive when he's had half a shift tonight, Green, and I'd back him in from anywhere, this bloke.
He's kicked 1.
This will certainly test him.
Well, they need to make the most of these slim chances.
They've had a false start. And he made pretty good contact. He likes it. So they've got the first one. 13-8-86 to 15-9-99, and we've got a ball game.
Well, the Demons won't lie down, Hunter. There's no doubt about that. As you see it in replay here, at the back there's a loose ball. Bruce went hard at it. That's good to see. Woewodin, you saw the goals, had a look, tried to put it there, but Green over the back, and well, it was a very clever mark there by Green. And it's just the start the Demons wanted, as you said, and these boys just won't lie down.
Well, that was an excellent kick, wasn't it, by Brad Green to register his second goal. Melbourne's 13th, and it is back to 13 points. White gets first hand on the ball. Harvey to break away to Thompson. Thompson kicks it high in towards half forward. Neitz is back there, gathered there by Whelan. Then well done by Brown, who's had a fair bit of the ball, but his kick has been marked by Beetham. Beetham to run on to the forward 50, dispossessed. Gee, he was a little fortunate, and maybe he can kick a goal. Maybe Cade Beetham can. No, he can't. Not quite the distance required. And Jeff White is marked right on the goal line.
Well, he's looking around. There's not a lot of options. There's nothing on the switch. You might have to wait for a flood situation here.
Brown, short Brown.
There he is.
He can handball. No, he decides to play on. One bounce, approaching the defensive 50-metre line, and then short passes to Gergich. He plays on quickly. Down towards the wing. Marking contest. Important that you stand your ground. And Gale did that. Harvey dispossessed, but got the hand pass towards Gale. And eventually over for a
young Godfrey's back on Harvey.
Gale and Godfrey go dip.
Yeah, young Godfrey's back on the Harvey. Also, Nathan Burke is off the ground as well, with his left knee also strapped. So both Lowe and Burkey off the ground with those knee problems.
Great thump from Everett. Hayes handled it. Well, he handled it beautifully, and then he just lost the handle on it after that. So a chance on the rebound for the Demons now. Uze from the Ward handball. A long lead coming out from Brad Green. Just couldn't hang on to it. And in the end, the boundary line is where the footy ends up.
You know what could be costly? The fact that they have 3 players injured in Lawrence, Lowe and Burke.
Yes.
And they haven't got the flexibility off the bench with 17 minutes left in the game.
No, quite right, Robbo. It's going to be difficult for the Saints because they've got 3 key players on the bench, and they're a war of attrition. They haven't got the depth coming off in the legs, so their rotations through midfield are going to have to come from, well, some of the half forwards and half backs. So the onus is now on the boys out there just to dig deep.
13 points is the margin here. Quick kick forward by Gurgic. Up towards full forward. Green, was he being held on to? Robertson. On to the high tackle.
It was a good effort by Mark Gale, I thought. The momentum was with Russell Robertson when he jumped in the air and gathered the ball. The tackler not infringing and locking the player up.
No doubt about that, because I was just about to mention earlier that very, very impressive Gale. He's been one of their better pickups as a recruit this year, and tonight he's been tremendous.
So the ball is 20 metres out, and there's very much a chance here for a goal, but Moyle doing well. Clearing kick, Jeff White. Oh, that's a great mark from Harvey. What an influence he's had on this game as it's gone on. Well, he's got himself into trouble now, and he's just about, could have been pinged there. White backed himself and misses. He had a short pass option too. He had Brad Green on his own.
Oh, he was licking his lips.
Should have taken the pass, I reckon, then.
Well, look, that was a shame for Robert Harvey, because in his eagerness to get the play moving, they know. Look, you see the St Kilda's patterns tonight when they've moved it quickly off half back. Opportunities have been created, but he just brought himself into trouble. But what a great grab.
Well, the contest at right half back, the crowd thought there might have been a free kick in it. Saints don't mess around. Thompson from Kazitsky. Thompson's kick has found Hall. All of a sudden the ball is in St Kilda's full forward area.
That's what I was just talking about with the rebound off half back. When they've worked it tonight, they've done it very, very well. It's been pretty clean. And, well, it's worked for them tonight. Barry can finish off here. It's pretty handy breathing space.
Well, Barry Hall kicked the goal right on the three-quarter time break. He could get his second here. And it's a lovely kick too. Great finish by Bazza. Barry Hall kicks his second goal. And when Melbourne looked like threatening, St Kilda back out to an 18-point lead.
Well, it could be an inspired move, this one, Hall to the forward line. It's already paying some dividends. Always impressed with Caden Beetham, and onto another one of the young guns in Koschitzky. And this guy who's done the job, Thompson, on Woewodin all night. Good spot up to Hall there, and an excellent finish there for a goal to Barry Hall.
Very important goal, that one. Everett wins the tap, and well handled by Hayes again. Begley, gone. Holding the ball, advantage. Wheatley just took one step too many. McDonald. Ward. Good kick. And Wheatley, good running to find position. We saw him have a shot for goal earlier, which he missed. This will be a similar shot.
He had a bit to do with the ball going forward as well. He got on the end of it.
He's a good kick for distance, is Wheatley, but we saw earlier that he missed his last shot. This will need to be better. 16-9 to 13-9. Paul Wheatley. It's a good kick. It's a good kick. They're not going to die the D's.
We're not going to die, all right, that's for sure. We've seen it on a number of occasions already tonight, but well, they keep on biting back the Demons, and it's a trademark of this team at the moment. But the flow of play, the pattern of the game, Well, it would baffle the most passionate football followers, because there's been no set pattern. Both sides have had their moments in the sun where they've taken full advantage of momentum. Is it the D's turn?
Well, in a situation like this, where would you rather be, with 2 goals in front or doing the chasing?
Always love having my nose in front.
I think so too, Paul, as the players get a little tired. Mistakes do creep in. Milne's kick has been very, very well marked by Neitz. In good position and with a lot of surety. Has handled the ball well. Goes short, where the mark has been taken here by Brown. He's caught.
That's holding the ball, isn't it?
Of course it is. Powell. Gee, they're absolutely screaming. He's got it again. Tried to get the hand pass in the direction of Leoncelli. Caught with the ball was Begley. Ball spills to Whelan. He loves to run, but he was just grabbed ever so slightly by Hamill. And that may be important because the kick came in short. Schwarz, lovely hand pass. Robertson will mop this up. He'll go over the top. He'll give the hand pass, and the goal will be kicked by Greeny's third. Well, I'm with the Saint fans. I reckon down the other end of the ground. It was unbelievable that they didn't get a free kick. Off the ground is Robertson, and into the fray is Gergic.
Let's look at the replay here as Thompson just gets the... No, it wasn't. It was... well, the ball came in long there. Good contest. This is where Schwarz is so clever. His vision for any sort of football is fantastic, and he spotted Robertson in the corner of his eye. And, well, the Demons, a couple of quick goals, and it keeps us on the edge of our seats.
Yeah, the Saints might be in trouble now. They're down on numbers, we know, with Burke and Lowe off the ground. Momentum back with the Demons. Saints need to respond. Good tackling by Woewodin. It's gone up a notch again, the Demons' momentum and their effort at the footy. Thompson using Neitz, who's played back in defence. A couple of telling marks. He's managed to quell Hamill for the time being. Good mark from Adam Uze.
What about the kick that came from the young first gamer, Thompson?
Yeah. Jeff White.
Look at Neitz, look at Neitz.
Yeah, Neitz has run all the way down. He didn't see him. Instead, he went for the lead in green. And we know all about his accuracy. This will certainly test it.
Oh, look, you just have to give credit where credit's due to the Melbourne team in the last 5 minutes of football. Have just turned the game on its ear again. St Kilda got out to a 3-goal break, and for all intents and purposes, looked like the momentum was with them. But yet again, another example. We've seen 3 or 4 of them tonight where Melbourne just bitten back. And I said it earlier, I'll say it again, I don't mind backing this guy in from any angle.
Well, let's have a look at the kick. It is magnificent. Scores a level again. What a game from Colonial Stadium. 16-9, 105. The Saints and the D's, and there's 12 minutes remaining.
When I mentioned before about the bench and being restricted, the 4th player that's on the bench is Tim Elliott. Now, he's by no means a runner, you know, with the athleticism that you're looking for in a tight finish. And obviously the instruction must be with the Demons to force them to run, because they've got that ability at their fingertips, the Demons. Well, there is the bench for St Kilda. It consists of Lawrence injured, Burke injured, Lowe injured, and Elliott, the ruckman. And the bounce of the ball, the umpire has found an infringement. It may have been too many in the square.
Oh, you don't need that at this stage of the game. So line ball, but this man has been tremendous all night.
Everett kicks the ball into the forward 50 for St Kilda. Where are the Crummers? They're there. Powell, look away. Callaghan, lovely left foot kick normally. This is not too bad either to the goal line, and eventually through for a behind.
Neitz has gone back to full forward, trying to stretch the Saints.
The lead is with St Kilda.
Well, you mentioned all those injured guys on the bench, Robbo, and the important point in that is there's a lot of run on that bench. They can't go out and take the field. So, well, we'll see how the Saints, Robert Harvey, Moore, these guys have covered so much ground tonight.
I think they'd love Burke out there.
Clapp at the moment is playing on Neitz. They've now made a switch down there. I think Elliott might have to come onto the ground. In the meantime, Hamill's got the footy, guiding it. Oh, he's got it well, but Uze had him wrapped up. McDonald to pounce. Neitz leads into the space. Can he get hold of it? It goes a bit further. And Daniel Ward will have the chance to put Melbourne in front.
What about them running to Uze? That was the chase and the tackle. the telling moment of the match.
And he's just got up from being very crook. I'm not sure what his problem was in an earlier contest before that point was kicked for the Saints. To put in an effort like that is, well, it's just great leadership. And if there's a goal scored here, Robbo, you're quite right. You can attribute that directly to the efforts of Adam Uze.
So Daniel Ward, the Demons are in front at Colonial Stadium. They lead by 5, and the fading Saints really need to find something now.
Well, it's the last 4 goals, Hutto, to Melbourne, and they are just opening this game up. They've made an incision into the St Kilda form line at the moment. But I just want to put it beyond the Saints tonight. Look, the only thing that's going to get to them, as I said, is the amount of legs they've got and run. It's going to be tough. They can do it.
Well, they've made a change coming off the ground as Milne, and Elliott goes to the full forward line. So maybe trying to organise some sort of a mismatch. Elliott to go to the goal square and Hall to come down to half forward. But it may not get there. McDonald's kick forward has been terrifically marked by one of the great Melbourne people, David Schwarz. Jeff White and McDonald happy with their efforts at the centre bounce. But a lot is spoken of David Schwarz, and maybe, well, if you'd call it haphazard attitude, but by gee, can play football, and he has had shocking knee reconstructions over his career.
I think that's one of the rare times Melbourne had well, not one of the rare times, they've done it on a few occasions, but out of the centre clearance, very good job there. Let's see if Schwarz can nail this one.
Well, this would nearly be Melbourne's greatest lead. Schwarz has done it. They lead by 11, the Demons.
Taking absolutely nothing away from the Demons' effort tonight. They have been sensational, but I'm borderline going to call it a little bit of an injustice because the Saints have been tremendous. Didn't capitalise on a lot of opportunities they had in the second term and third, but this has been a great game, and when it's this close, it's a little unfair to say that. But
it's Lawrence going off the ground, wasn't it? It happened then, Burke got hurt, Lowe got hurt, and all of a sudden the game has turned around. Melbourne have got the feeling, I'm sure, that they can outrun the opposition now.
Well, Saints need to respond. Blighty's not laughing or joking anymore. 18-9 to 16-10. Elliott into the ruck now. Won the tap as well. Uze. Oh, they're dangerous at the moment. Schwarz got it again.
Well, they've got their big guns back there, Hutto. Schwarz, Neitz. And they're looking like they're enjoying the opportunity because they were well covered early in the game. Koschitzky did a good job on Schwarz. Can I say that again? Robbo Koschitzky.
They're good, aren't they?
They are very good. And, well, they're stepping up real leaders, these guys.
Hall might end up having to go back to the back line at the moment, the big man. Schwarz, it's a wobbly one, and he's missed. And that one might come back to haunt them, you never know. You never know. Burke's back on the ground, though, for the Saints.
Good to see.
That's a good sign for them.
Well, he's a leader.
That might just inspire them. They just need to kick a goal to know that they can still be in this match. They're only 12 points behind. Delaney runs a long way. Scrappy old kick. Hayes went backwards. Koschitzky, not a great kick, really. Brown in front of Callaghan, running out of room. He'll take it over. He didn't do a lot to try and attempt to get rid of the footy, but he was over the line according to the umpire. So we'll see a throw in, 60 metres around from goal. 18-10 to 16-10.
Dare I say it, Hutto, the Saints need one here, simply for the fact that...
Won't get it.
To run on, haven't they, the Demons? Here we go again.
Fast break, Uze. Oh, Neitz is back in the goal square, in great position to take the mark. And he's got it. That's a mismatch down there. Blake's just not big enough.
It's been 3 kicks from Uze, hasn't it, guys?
Yeah.
2 beautiful set-up passes, and of course that one just put in the presence of David Neitz.
And he just ran the required extra metre, didn't he? Which put the carry of the ball to the favour of the marker here in David Neitz.
Shows great composure to do that, Robbo. A bloke who knows he's going to could get blindsided, but he's taken the extra step, as you say. And Neitz, well, he's stepped up, hasn't he?
Well, he's been back, he's been forward, and he's got them 3 goals up. you just can't see the Saints getting back from here, but you never know. There's still time for them.
It certainly is, Hutto, and it's got to happen out of the middle. We see Elliott has gone in and Everett out. He's been the driving force out of the middle. Harvey's, after his huge third quarter, has just been well neglected a little bit in this term. It's got to come out of the middle. You're not going to get off half back.
Surely Hall's got to go back to Neitz. I know they've got to win the match, so maybe that's why he's staying forward. But Blake on Neitz.
Well, this would be a bigger comeback than you've ever seen in modern football, I would think, because all the signs are that it's Melbourne. Elliott gets it forward, and it's taken by Whelan. Whelan out wide to Uze. Uze doesn't like handballing. He's had 23 kicks and just the one handball. Gergic on centre wing. Delivers the ball inside the forward 50. Schwarz! Couldn't take the mark. Opportunity now for Bruce. Gets around. Oh, left foot kick into the pocket. Spotted a player there. It was Green. His hand pass. James McDonald to Godfrey. Godfrey! Goal Demons!
Just an onslaught, isn't it?
It's a feast. It's opened up. Look, they've gone to work on the Saints. And really the trend continues to some degree with the Saints just, well, and there's some just cause behind the drop-off a bit in the last quarter, but you can't take anything away from the Demons. They found another gear here tonight, and they'll back their fitness in right to the final siren.
That's been a 7-goal turnaround since Kilda led by 3.
That's by far the biggest turnaround we've had tonight. And in the critical stage of the game, Melbourne's last 4 goals have come in only 6 minutes. Demoralising stuff for the Saints.
So 24 points the difference now. We hear the seats going up. Gergic goes out wide. Platt. Robertson pushing him away from the ball. He's been legged? Yes. Robertson to take it. And Gretz, Schwarz.
Well, when you see the game slipping away like this on the field, you remember the St Kilda side, you start to not panic a little bit, but there's not as great a clarity as there was 10 minutes ago when the game was on, and they'll be trying to plug holes, they'll be looking around, and well, it could get a bit ugly if not careful.
That stat says it all about this last quarter. Neitz. 25 points. That makes the job just about impossible for them now.
Gee, the saying about the big blokes getting no shorter as the game wears on, it stands the test of time. It's Neitz and Schwarz that have gone down there, and their bulk and their size has been too much for St Kilda to handle. Voss kicks the ball in, but it's another mark to Melbourne. And in this last quarter, this is Robertson.
I love this bloke. He's just amazing. He pops up everywhere, doesn't he?
Well, he's just got so much effervescence. And he's kicked into the pocket. He's been gathered here by Ward across the face of goal. Nitz's mark. Now, in this last quarter, Melbourne have gone inside their forward 50 on 14 occasions to 4. But how about this stat? They've taken 23 marks to 4 in the last turn so far.
Well, things have gone horribly wrong for the Saints in this quarter, Robbo, in a lot of areas. And I don't think it's through lack of endeavour. That was a fantastic centering kick by Ward there. And, well, it's just a collective viral thing that's gone through the Saints in this last quarter. It's really unfortunate.
Neitz kicks the goal. He's third. And all of a sudden, Melbourne lead by 31.
When I say viral thing, sometimes it just goes right through the team. It's not any one individual. Their endeavour's been right, but Melbourne have just started to get it more out of the middle. Their run's still been aggressive, their attacking's been aggressive, and they had 2 very, very strong targets up forward.
Dipper, is there a margin here that's interesting? Right now, Melbourne lead by 31.
Yeah, no, that margin's passed.
21-11 to 16-10. So, just about gone for the Saints now. Elliott in the ruck. White winning it down. The domination continues. Voss. Clever kick from McDonald. Thompson. Quelled Woewodin for much of the night. Woewodin only with 8 possessions. Callahan. Is he off? No.
You're right. Malcolm Bites continue to back the boys in. No loose man in defence. Blake stayed on Neitz.
Hamill flew Everett. There might have been a push and a bit of a shove there, but the umpire lets it go. Nathan Brown treading water, waiting for an option to arrive. Surely, well, it's close to holding the ball anyway. Everett took a long time to get the ball to boot. Hall in the square, judged it well and kicks the goal. Touched!
Oh, no.
Can you believe that?
Hutto, at the 7-minute mark of this quarter, St Kilda were 18 points in front. And since then, in the remaining 16 minutes that have transpired, Melbourne have kicked 8 goals. 8 unanswered goals until that opportunity was with Barry Hall.
Gee, you take a mark in the goal square, and it's pretty average, isn't it? I know what he was thinking, but
You just got to make the necessary adjustments in a situation where a side's got the run on like Melbourne have, and St Kilda haven't really done that effectively. They've continued to try and play football the way they've played it all night. They haven't reset themselves, tightened up in certain areas, man on man, be more accountable. And Melbourne have taken full advantage of some of the looseness.
Yeah, what they've done also, Paul, is when the ball out of the middle, we've just taken Harvey completely out of the game.
yeah.
The kick from Ward has found Whelan. Whelan is at left half back. Harvey has had 3 hand passes in this last term so far. Kick from Whelan towards the left half forward area. At the back of the pack is Callaghan. Handball to Gale. Gale squeezed up against the boundary line. Got the kick away, but it was gathered there by Brown, is it, at the bottom of the pack. Whelan over the top, helping out his fellow defender. And the umpire will bounce right on centre wing. And near the AFL sponsors logo, CUB. AFL Premiership Season 2001, brought to you by CUB. Robert Harvey, we spoke about him just a few moments ago. And his kick goes forward, but there's no one home. Whelan had time to drop it, then gather, survey the scene down the ground, decided to give it to Brown. Brown goes short, and the mark is taken by Godfrey. Godfrey is on centre wing. Melbourne lead by 5 goals after trailing by 3 goals at the 7-minute mark of this quarter. Unbelievable transformation in this match, which probably came about through the inadequacies of the St Kilda hierarchy as Uze goes in and misses what he probably should have kicked. Adam Uze's first score, a behind, but a first-class performance from Uze in the midfield for Melbourne.
He's been good all night. As one of the D supporters showing some moves, you're pretty happy with the way the team has come home strong.
24 kicks and 9 marks to Adam Uze. St Kilda worked the ball all the way down towards the wing where Begley is marked, and Neitz trying to just hold up the St Kilda player on centre wing. Just under the commentary box here at Colonial Stadium. Begley's a bit of an up and under in towards half forward. White, the big leap, couldn't take the mark. Powell trying to spin out of trouble. The tackle affected by Whelan was good. In all sorts of strife there was Russell Robertson. Got the kick away to Uze. He in turn goes to McDonald. McDonald's kick. Neitz is there on his own. St Kilda fans will leave now if they haven't already, because Neitz has kicked his 4th goal. And Melbourne have shot out to a 37-point advantage. I'm not quite sure whether there would have been a lot of people here at the ground and watching on television that would have predicted that at the 7-minute mark of the term.
Absolutely not. I'm certainly one of those. We see Neitz waltz in for an easy goal there, Robbo. It's been really, from a point of view of watching this game tonight, it's been a bit of a shame that it's finished on this note. Not for the Melbourne supporters, of course. It's been a great finish. They've hit some wonderful form as Uze's came off, and to a round of applause too. He's had a great night out.
And he actually did a handball in that last passage of play to go with his 24 kicks for the night. So 16-11 to 22-12. Last couple of minutes of the game now. Oh, high, and the free kick. Takes the quick chance just to mention the Barrack for MS promotion that the AFL are running with MS. You can get the little badges in your team colours during the week, so look out for them in the lead up to next week's Barrack for MS Day. Powell getting the handball. Hayes barging through, watch out. Great smother. They've done all the hard things so well in this last quarter. Powell's kept on trying hard for the Saints. Voss with an opportunity, works it up nicely for Beetham, who finally breaks the drought and kicks a goal for the Saints.
Well, it's a little consolation for the Saints, I suppose, when you think about it. They're not going to win tonight's game. There's only a minute left in it. And they did just so well up until the 10-minute mark of this last term. But Melbourne have really just cracked the whip and come home. Put the spinnaker up, so to speak. And a lot of the good performances by a lot of these Saints players, Robbo, has unfortunately come to nothing.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that their fans would be disappointed because they were sailing along quite nicely at the 7-minute mark of this last term. But to Melbourne's credit, they've just kept at their opposition and worn them down. A couple of crucial injuries, Stephen Lawrence going off and then Nathan Burke, two midfielders who have the ability to run and create coming off the ground, which was bad luck for them. You can see Stephen Lawrence there in the foreground as Milne, but Lawrence bad leg injury in the third term was quite critical. Bounce of the ball, just seconds left in the game now. Harvey, who was so good in the third term when he had 14 possessions, but couldn't keep it up. The Melbourne injured room around the middle of the ground have just been irrepressible, basically. They've just kept at it and pushed it forward.
Well, coming into tonight's game, Robbo, I really felt the running strength of the Melbourne team really might be an edge they have. I thought St Kilda's forward power, again, was an edge they'd have. And it's been rather fortuitous. They've just continued to run. Woewodin, we mentioned earlier in the night, has not stopped. Godfrey's done a great job. Well, there's a lot of players in this Melbourne lineup tonight that very, very pleased indeed. As with the Saints, I mean, they played 3 tremendous quarters of footy.
That young bloke's played a pretty good game too, Nathan Brown. And he got it out to James McDonald, who had the last kick of the game. And the Demons are victorious at Colonial Stadium in a game that may be quite critical as far as both teams are concerned. Prospects for 2001. Melbourne, after trailing by 19 points at three-quarter time, have won the game convincingly in the finish by 31 points. Melbourne 22-12, 144. St Kilda 17-11, 113. And for Melbourne, Neitz kicked 4, Green kicked 4, Cameron Bruce kicked 3. And for St Kilda...
So it was the D's by 31 points. It was a costly loss for the Saints. Nathan Burke and Stuart Lowe sustained long-term knee injuries and Stephen Lawrence injured his hamstring. While Malcolm Blight's controversial on-field dressing down of his players post-match attracted much scrutiny the following week. Thanks again for your company. The Demons and the Saints go toe-to-toe again this weekend. So check your TV guide for screening times and catch all the action right here on Fox Footy Channel.